listening to Take Back with Zac, where we cover the hottest topics in the sporting world, including deep dives into the greatest teams to ever exist, the Lakers, Chargers, and the Anaheim Angels, as well as all the other news from around the world of sports. This show is available everywhere that you get your podcast. The video is available on YouTube. This is the first hour of a 4-hour live show on Twitch and YouTube, so if you like this, you're going to love the whole show. Maybe. Tune in on Monday and Wednesday from 2 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, and then Fridays we do a little special early start from 1 to 5 p.m. On today's show, we are going to be covering the Lakers getting wrecked by OKC. I mean, it's the hottest topic right now in sports. Like I said, this was supposed to be game of the year type thing. This was supposed to be a close game. I was already ready to say, like, hey, even if the Lakers lost by like 3 or 4 points, I'm fine with it. Losing by 43 is a totally different animal and a totally different thing that I have to reconcile with as a fan of that team. As a member of the grounds, the hallowed grounds in which they laid their foundations in Southern California. I get a lot of people calling into the show. Oh, I'm from Arkansas. Oh, who do you like? The Knicks. What? I live in Indiana. Oh, who's your team? The Thunder. What? That's weird. Oh, I'm in Orlando. Oh, you must be a Magic fan. No, I like Golden State. Brother, I live here. This is my city. This is my team. This is my squad. This isn't something new. I remember going to Fuddruckers as a kid after church. If you know what Fuddruckers is, shout out to you, and I'm not cussing. I remember going to Fuddruckers at church after church in Lake Forest, catching a Laker game after, watching Kobe Bryant and Andrew Bynum lay work on the Portland Trailblazers. And I'm like, hey, this is my team. Watching Pau Gasol, D. Fish. What do you know about Sasha Vujacic? I'm not going to get mad. So, big rule on the show. Oreo's jumping in. XD1 is jumping in. What's up, XD? And what's up, JD? It's the Coward Hour. Lakers the greatest. XD. All right, let's just chill on that. Max remembers Fuddruckers. Shout out to Max. What is Fuddruckers? I know there's a restaurant called Fuddruckers, but what is a Fuddrucker? I don't know. Maybe we'll cover that later on the show. Like I said, the first hour of the show is mainly all of the sports news and some funny jokes along the way. Hours 2 and 3, we're going to be taking live calls. So if you're into that, hop in there. And then hour 4, the sour hour, to compare to the power hour, it's usually when I yell and complain and cry. So 2 things. I'm not crying anymore at all about anything that's happening. I'm not crying. I'm not complaining. I'm also not going to be yelling and screaming and getting mad today. Today, no yelling, no screaming, no getting mad. And it's pissing me off already that you guys think I can't do it. Because I can't see you. You can see me. But I know that right now, you're like, oh yeah, nice try not getting mad if the Lakers lose by 43. Once I talk about it and I'm done talking about it, we are done talking about it. There is no like, oh, I'm going to call in late in the show and like remind Zac about the loss. That's not happening. Okay? In the 4th hour of the show, we're not like calling into the show and being like, hey, I remember the Lakers lost last night. We're not doing that. I'm also not getting upset about it. We're going to be talking about the Lakers game last night. We're going to talk about Luka Doncic getting injured. Yeah. Well, I'm not getting mad. I'm not going to get upset about anything. I'm also not going to be like, woe is me, life is over, we're all done with this. The Lakers season is all gone because Luka got hurt. If anything, if there was a time to get hurt, maybe it's right now. Maybe it's the worst time to get hurt, but maybe it is the best time to get hurt. We are on injury watch all day because I've not been there's not been a confirmation post the MRI that happened today on exactly a timetable for Luka Doncic. So once we get that news, I'm going to cry. I'm not going to cry. Like I said, I'm no crying today, no complaining, and no yelling and screaming and no getting mad. Steph Curry's coming back. Wow. Oh, cool. Sorry, that was mean. That is pretty cool. I want to see my Shea quote, but I don't want to be a... What? Huh, JD? These are already being jerks to me right now. Rest in peace, my granny. She got hit by a bazooka. We're going to be talking about the Luka Doncic injury. We're also going to be talking about NBA title chances. Now that I'm like, hey, the Lakers played like they did last night, brother. Blah, blah, blah. You know, before the game last night, you know what? Screw it. There's 3 teams that can win the finals. There's the Celtics, the Thunder, and the Spurs. Those are the 3 teams that can win the finals and have a good chance of winning the finals. And then there's a group of teams that, like, if they win the finals, I would be somewhat surprised by. But ultimately, if they have some good luck, can get it done. And that's the Pistons, that's the Lakers, that's the Nuggets, and that's it. That's the list. So I just blew that whole thing off. So I know. I was supposed to be saving that for later. Lakers is my only wild card team. I don't want to cuss, so I censored the word. Nice. Good job, JD. Proud of you. Happy for you. Happy Good Friday. There are some updates coming from the NFL world, including where Ty Simpson might be going. A quarterback by the name of Kirk Cousins getting signed to a 5-year deal. Huh? Worth like $178 million. Oops. To presumably start for the Raiders. Hey, preview here. If I'm picking someone at 1-1, not in the first round, not 10th overall, not fifth. If I'm picking someone number 1 overall with the entire draft ahead of me, looking at every single available piece, and I pick a dude that's not going to start for me week 1, hey, I'm going to let you know right now, that guy's not the dude. We're going to be talking about the Tiger arrest video. Obviously, it's one of the craziest things that we've seen. It's actually like so sad. But because of how intoxicated he actually was, it turns out to be one of the funniest things in the world. I need to clip out I was on the phone with the president part so badly. So badly. I should have done that earlier in the day, but I was doing other things like sleeping and creating graphics for the show. We're doing a live watch log to all of the MLB games going on throughout today's show, including the NBA games. I'll be tipping off at 4 p.m. We'll be doing some watch logs early on the Minnesota and the Detroit game. But as always, this show starts the same way every single day without fail. It starts with the verse of the day. Today is Good Friday, so I wanted to remind us a little bit about the Lord's discipline. Therefore, this is from Hebrews chapter 12 at the beginning of the chapter. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. We all have something that easily trips us up, right? Easily is a very important word here. We know like stealing and murder are sins, but I'm not easily tripped up by stealing and murder. Those are very big things that I don't. Hey, listen. I don't have a thief's bone in my body. Well, I don't have a murderer's bone in my body. I got a murderer's bone in her body, though. Oh! Rest in peace, my grand. Shouldn't have said that. Especially during the verse of the day. Fernando will start by week 6. It'll be all good. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, he looked pretty good in his pro day. Let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. Endurance, brother. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion, who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he's seated on the place of honor beside God's throne. Think of all the hostility he endured from sinful people. Then you won't become weary and give up. After all, you have not yet given your lives in your struggle against sin. No, we are still standing tall. The cross was a very, very shameful thing. It was not like there were more pleasant ways for someone to be put to death in the time of Jesus. The cross was one of the most shameful ways to do it. It was a place of thieves and murderers. That was what the cross was utilized for. At the moment, talking has become difficult all of a sudden. We also do the movie of the day. Today's movie of the day, speaking of stealing, Ocean's 11. The plan is all set. The plan is set. The rules are clear. If all goes right for Danny Ocean's grifters, the payoff is $150 million. Divided by 11, you do the math. Is that 11 million? 11 times 11 is 111, right? So this would be, what's 150 million divided by 11? You do the math. The skill of Academy Award winning director Steven Soderbergh combines with enough star power to light up the Las Vegas Strip in this classy caper. George Clooney plays Danny, defying the odds in a split-second heist of 3 Vegas casinos. of all the owned, all owned by imagination, by a magnate who is dating Danny's ex-wife. Wow. A fixer, a pickpocketer, a blackjack dealer, a film flamer, and others is well-defined roles are with Danny. Are you in or out? Drop in the chat. Are you in or are you out? Shout out to Ocean's 11. That's a good movie. It's spring break. I'm not doing math. Yeah. Happy spring break to all of those who celebrate. That, my friends, is the preamble. Now let's get into the show. Of course, today's show is going to begin with the biggest story of the day. And like I said, one more moment. For Good Friday, thank you, Jesus, so much for dying on the cross for our sins, Lord God. Where would we be without you? Thank you for taking on that shame, Lord Jesus. I pray that we continue to ask for repentance. You did it for a reason, not for us just to sit there and use it. Not for us to take the gift and to be wishy-washy with the way that we live. Let us not take advantage of the gift, Lord God, of grace, but try our best to live an obedient life. In your name we pray, and thanks. Amen. Brother, let's get it. So not once have I ever wanted to, woken up and not wanted to do this show until today. There's not a moment in my life where I've woken up and said, I am not happy. I'm not excited to do TBWZ until today. Because of that game last night. This game was over 5 minutes into the game. When OKC started on an 18-4 run, my mom looked at the TV and she goes, oh my gosh, they're losing by a lot. I said, yeah, it's over. And she's like, it's not over. It's still the first quarter. And I said something that I'll never forget. Probably heard it from someone else. But I put it on a t-shirt. This is my quote. You can't win a game in the first quarter, but you sure can lose one. I said that. No one else has said it before. That is my quote. The Thunder finished the first quarter up 20. They scored 44 points in the first quarter on their way to an 82-point first half. The Thunder shot over 62% from the field, 50% from three in the first half. They had 4 turnovers to the Lakers' 11. They out-rebounded us 23-11 and had 20 more points in the paint and 13 second-chance points all in the first half. Amen. Wemby didn't play last night? It was just a beatdown. It was just an absolute beatdown. Giving up 82 points and a half. Dog, I thought they could have gone for 90. I thought they could have gone for 90 points in the first half. There's going to be NBA games in the playoffs that finish 103 to 98 in the playoffs because we get more defense and we get a lot more misses and guys get tired and we get playoff games like that. Dog. The Thunder had 82 points in the first half. They destroyed the Lakers. It was really, really quite obvious on the screen what the Thunder were trying to do. I'm going to drop some ball knowledge on you. What they were doing was blitzing the ball handler. So clearly and obviously. Whoever had the ball, they're we're going to blitz you. We're going to make you so uncomfortable. We're going to force a turnover. And we're going to go fly down the court and we're going to score easily. We're going to do it in the paint. They were relentless on Luka and on Austin Reeves. Forcing turnovers left and right. Every time Austin touched the ball in the first half, they just attacked him. He had 4 turnovers. Luka had a total of 5 turnovers. All 4 of Austin's came in the first half. Luka had actually 6 on paper, but one of them was the turnover when he got hurt, so I'm not counting that. The whole game plan was attack the Lakers ball handlers and see how they handle it. And they didn't handle it well. I was trying so hard, my absolute hardest, to spin this as how can I possibly think JJ Redick might have something up his sleeve, right? Maybe he didn't want to show him anything. And that might be true. Maybe they were not running normal sets that they usually run, or they're saving things. As if this is the team that we're going to meet in the playoffs. Why don't we save some of our cards so we don't deal our whole hand right away? So when the playoffs come around, the Thunder might be whoa, we didn't see this at all in the regular season. And that may be something that JJ wanted to do. JD, you're just in my head. Zombie. Maybe that's true. But just getting blitzed like that and turning over the ball, that's not game plan on the Lakers. That's not gamesmanship on the Lakers' part. That is just purely getting destroyed by a Thunder team that was playing with all the juice in the world. When I saw the Thunder fans on their feet at tip-off, I knew the game was probably over. I knew it was over. It's like, oh, they're on their feet at tip-off? This game's done. They have nothing better to do in Oklahoma City than to cheer and stand on their feet for the Thunder. Sorry to everybody from Oklahoma City. Sorry to everybody from Oklahoma. I'm being a jerk right now. I'm being a jerk. I think it's just a bad matchup for Luka because Luka likes to play slow and OKC plays fast. Maybe. It's actually pretty wise. OKC had a plan to out-physical LA and force points off of turnovers, and it worked. The cherry on top is they didn't miss a shot. That's the part that's not going to happen every single game. The whole, hey, we didn't miss a shot thing. Dude, being up and neutralizing the Lakers offensively because of what your defensive game plan was, dog, absolutely. That will happen every single time you go out and try to do it if you're this Thunder team against the Lakers team, from what it looks like. But on top of that, hitting every single shot, shooting 62% from the field, shooting 50% from three, 90% from the free throw line, that part doesn't happen every game. That part definitely doesn't happen on the road. As bad a loss as this is for the Lakers, it's also the Thunder playing out of their minds and playing a game that is not, feasible. What they did last night was so unbelievable. Neutralizing the Lakers on defense and then hitting every single shot after that, that's not a sustainable practice. We can't just say, what's your game plan? Make every shot we take. You're going to have bad shooting nights. You're going to have rough nights, and the Thunder have, and we've seen it. We've seen some overtime games to some surprising teams. They end up winning those games. They do. But shooting the way they did, that's not something you can just bank on. It was a combination of the defensive effort and the fact that they could not miss. That just led to the absolute rout that we got last night. Oh, yeah, you're right, JD. According to JD, it's a tradition for the OKC fans to stand until they score. That's pretty awesome. That is fun. Put any team in that situation that the Lakers were in last night, in front of that crowd, in front of that team, shooting the way they were and playing the defense that they were, that team's going to lose. I don't care if it's the Celtics, if it's the Pistons at full health, if it's Denver at full health, if it's the Spurs at full health. If you go into that building and that crowd that crowd was part of the game. If that crowd is doing what they were doing, and that team is shooting and scoring at the rate that they were scoring, forcing turnovers the way that they were, and attacking defensively, there's not a team in the NBA that can beat the Thunder. If the Thunder do all of those things, there's not a single team in the league that can come close to beating them. They beat every team in the league by double digits if they do what they did last night consistently. No, Oreo. If the Thunder shoot with the percentages that they did last night in front of that home crowd and play the same defense that they did last night against Lakers, against any team, they beat any team by double digits. I don't care about the Spurs defense. If they shoot that way and they make every shot, nobody's beating them. You can't. And vice versa. If for whatever reason the Thunder were cold and the Lakers had the same percentages that the Thunder had, the Lakers would have won that game. It's impossible to beat a team that shoots the way that the Thunder shot last night. They're going to do that in the playoffs. They're going to do that in the finals if they get there. They're going to have those nights where they're an actually unbeatable team. There's not another team in the NBA that I can look at and say, if they play that way, they're unbeatable. If the Spurs played the best game they've ever played all season, and the Thunder shoot like they did against the Lakers on Thursday, the Thunder are winning that game. I'm embarrassed. Not as just a Lakers fan. I'm embarrassed for America. This was a nationally televised game. There wasn't really much baseball on last night. There wasn't really a great hockey game that I was looking at. We had no March Madness. The eyes of America were on Lakers and Thunder last night. People were making plans to watch this game. Hey, this was a game of the year. This was a game for the MVP. Winner of this game, whoever scored more points between Luka and Shea, won the MVP. We've never seen a game like this. And we let down a national audience. The worst part is, the past 16 games, Showtime has been back as Brandon Marsh hits his first home run of the year. It's a 3-run home run. Phillies are up 6-0 with 1 out in the top of the first against the Rockies. The Blue Jays have tied up the White Sox on the road. It's 3-3, bottom of the 8th. Andrew Benintendi is up to bat against Varland is pitching. You think the Lakers could beat the Spurs if they match up in the playoffs? I'll get to that in just a moment when I do my NBA when I do my title tiers, if you will. No, I'm saying tears. I'm not crying today. Tiers. I'm sorry, America, that within 5 minutes of that game, it was over. Maybe you were like tired and you wanted to go to bed, so maybe it was a good thing and you got to just like turn the TV off and go to bed and not think about it again. And then wake up to a final score of them down by 43. I texted someone last night, like, get ready for this 30-point comeback. Oh, jeez. It's so embarrassing. I've been pretty vulnerable on this show with you guys. I've kind of told you a lot about my troubles and trials and tribulations, the things I want, the things I'm looking for, the women I'm in love with. I've been pretty vulnerable with you guys. But probably the most embarrassing thing that I've ever told you is that I texted someone last night at halftime. 30-point comeback incoming. I didn't say, hey, I think that maybe the Lakers can come back. Hey, don't count us out just yet. I didn't say something coy or something sly. I didn't birth a beautiful soliloquy that would lead one to believe that, maybe they do have a chance in this game. I said 30-point comeback incoming, like an absolute loser. That team made me look stupid. I've been on here 2 weeks in a row now, talking about how I think the Lakers can compete, how I think the Lakers are a final team, how I think they can get out of the West. LeBron should play for another 5 years for the Lakers. I said that on Wednesday. Boy, oh boy, am I embarrassed. I'm not going to lie, I totally thought we might choke and make it close in the fourth. Once Luka got hurt, I was like, yeah, okay, there we go. Speaking of, a bunch of people were pointing out that the Luka Doncic injury was probably avoidable, as Luka was grabbing his hamstring early in the game. I was on Get Up today. I wasn't on it, but I should have been on it. I was watching it, and they were talking about how they showed clips of Luka Doncic grabbing at his hamstring in the first quarter of the game and early in the first half of the game, all the way leading up into the injury. He was limping. He was grabbing his hamstring. People were like, look, you're down 30. And you put him back out there? JJ Redick, you idiot. Dog, Luka's been nursing that hamstring the past 3 games. He's been hurt the past 3 or 4 games. Yet he's just been playing through it. Every single game I've seen this week, he's grimacing. He's grabbing at the hamstring on the bench. He's stretching it out. It's been a thing. This has been something that's been lingering for him. He was just 1 game under the 65-game mark, which don't even get me started on all of that and all the uproar about it. All these people are like, the 65-game mark sucks because now Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards and presumably Luka Doncic won't qualify for first team, even though those guys are first team. You wanted this. All those people complaining about the 65-game rule are the same people that were complaining about load management. Which one is it, brother? Let me know. Put it in write it down on a piece of lined college ruled paper, because I know you have trouble reading. So you're going to go college ruled. Go wide ruled. Write down all your complaints, put in a letter, mail it to Santa Claus. Because, brother, you're wishing. You are wishing you had something. You don't have crap there. JJ Redick after the game said they were going to give the starters 6 minutes of the third quarter, and if they didn't cut into the lead, they were going to pull them. He said you get 6 minutes. That's half of a quarter. Told all the starters, you get down 34 at halftime. He says, listen, you guys get 6 minutes. if you can cut into the lead, you're going to keep playing in the game. If you cannot cut into the lead substantially in 6 minutes, you're off. The injury happened with 7:39 remaining in the quarter. So at least J.J. Redick's a man of his word. At least he's a man of his word. Well, Oreo, 50-game rule. Now we're letting guys miss 32 games and qualify. Now we're letting guys miss 32 games and qualify. Apparently there's going to be an executive order to regulate the NIL and transfers for college sports. I would love to see that happen. I would also love to put my hat in the ring for commissioner of the NCAA. Hey, I don't know, Greg Sankey, I don't know, all the guys who are watching this. If I have a feeling that the president of the SEC, and I know the ACC commissioner usually watches the show, I'm going to put my hat in the ring for commissioner of the NCAA. I think I can govern it well, and govern it fun, too. It's not about like being well governed. It's about having fun with it. You know all the stuff in America that's happening? We're like going to war, right? They're distracting us with some sort of like moon launch thing, Artemis 2. Gas prices are $6.50 right now in Southern California. Prices of food has gone up 7x since like 2021. There's all these things that are going wrong in America. It'd be a lot better if they were doing it in a fun way, right? If they're like, hey, guess what? Eggs are expensive now. I know it sucks. But they were like releasing funny videos and be like, I know we're mad, but here's a funny joke. Like if they just did the government part funny, we would be a lot more chill with it. We're like, yeah, I know things aren't going well, but hey, at least they give us a good laugh. That's what I would do with the NCAA. It wouldn't be run well, right? I wouldn't govern the NCAA well. I wouldn't make sure that players are well taken care of and coaches are incentivized to teach the kids or that they're incentivized to get good grades. I don't care about grades. I don't care about any of that. I wouldn't govern it well. I'd govern it fun. I'd govern it very fun. Things like MAC teams now are part of the G5 or they're out of the G5 and they're part of the power conferences and they get an at-large bid every single year to the playoff. That's fun. Fun things like a guy after 2 years has to transfer. You have to transfer every 2 years. But you can't transfer after one season. Okay? So I that's a rule I would do. You have to transfer after 2, but you can't transfer after 1. Mascots can get points for the team if they successfully beat the other mascot in a fight. It's worth 3 points. It's called the halftime fight. We're revolutionizing the halftime show. I love the marching bands. The bands are our pre-game thing, and they're a post-game show as well. But at halftime, we're doing mascot fights. We're not doing battles to the death. I just need to visibly see that you, the Gator, chomping away at the weird Vanderbilt Commodore guy. I called him a Vandador. I want to see you kick his butt. I want to see it with my own eyes. I want to go, award 3 points to Florida. I'm going to talk like that too. Here. A soft tissue injury is so wide open in terms of like what the timetable could be for return. If they told me it's going to be like a week or two, I'd be like, okay. If they told me it's going to be a month or two, I'd be like, okay. If they said he's out for the season, I'd be like, okay. All of those are possible options with a soft tissue hamstring injury. They had I forget who they had talking about. I believe it was Richard Jefferson. They were asking him about, Hicks bro's on his phone in class. Bro, I'm too hot for teacher. Someone said like the soft tissue injury thing. It's such a feel for it. Man, I'm having the worst thought ever, and I don't want to share it. I don't want to share this bad thought at all. I'm not going to share it. I'm having a horrible thought, and I'm not going to share it at all. Sorry. We're just going to forget about that. I'm going to assume Luka will be on the floor sooner rather than later, but I seriously doubt he plays in any of the Lakers' next 5 games. I'm going to assume with something like a hamstring that he's going to be here for the playoffs, and he's going to play playoff basketball for the Lakers. I can only assume. But the next 5 games, I do not think he plays at all. The 5 games as Toronto's got a man on second, 2 outs in the top of the 9th. The final 5 games are at Dallas. We have OKC again at home, at Golden State, and then we have Phoenix and Utah to finish the season at home. I don't think Luke is going to play in those next 5 games, meaning he's going to be ineligible for the end of season awards, all that kind of stuff. Bro, I totally thought today was Saturday and I slept through my orientation for my job. I was freaking out. JD, what orientation are you doing? You're starting a new job. I remember you said that in the chat the other day. I would love to know what you're doing. On Twitch, the title should be Luka Doncic injury. Yeah, there it is. Cool. We're all set. I love you guys so much, by the way. Just want to let you know. Deep love, deep passion. To all the people that said, like, oh, dude, Luka was clearly hurt before the game. He was hurt in the first quarter. Can you imagine the backlash that he would have gotten if he sat out this game against the Thunder and against SGA? Could you imagine? Right now, today, the narrative all over my screen, all over ESPN, all over wherever you get your sporting news, Stephen A. screaming at the Lakers. Why is he even playing? If the man is hurt, hey, if the brother was hurt, I can do a good Stephen A. Why is he even out there playing? Could you imagine if he didn't play, if he sat that game out and was like hamstring soreness, I'm out. Today, all those same talking heads that are saying it was such a horrible idea for him to play would be screaming at the top of their lungs, he's so soft. You have to play in that game. I don't care how bad you're hurt. You have to play in that game. So which one is it? HEB. Let's go. Dude, JD, I know what HEB is, dog. I've been to HEB. I've been to Texas many, many times in my life. I've been to San Ann. I've been to Houston. I've been to Dallas. I've been to Austin. I've been everywhere in Texas, dog. Everywhere but El Paso. I know everything about Texas, left and right. It sucks. It's so mean because people are just like, I didn't choose where I lived. That's the craziest part about life, dude. Your spawn point. You don't choose your spawn point, right? You see some kids that are born in crazy situations with all the gold in the world. And you're just like, that's a pretty good spawn point. Then you have other kids that are born in trailers. You have kids that are born into situations and immediately like dropped off at a fire station before they could even suck their thumb. Dude, your spawn point affects the rest of your life and you have no control over it. So why do we get so upset about life? Why do we get so worked up? Why do we worry so much? So much of your life and your trajectory is predicated on where you were born, when you were born, and who you were born to and the situation. All of that is outside of your control. Yeah, we're sitting here and like worrying about how I'm going to put food on all this stuff. Like, dude, you're here. You're here, brother. That's a miracle in and of itself. It is crazy, though, that like the rest of your life is so determined by your spawn point. And you have some kids that were like born into a billionaire's home, hands right away, and just had all the money and all the things that they could have wanted. And that looks pretty good to someone who wasn't. Some people were born in Texas and they're like, Texas rules. Some people were born in Indianapolis and they're like, this stinks. It's crazy though. You didn't choose that part. I'm not saying anything profound, I don't think. The hardest part is overcoming your spawn point. Now that's the hard part. And not letting it be the thing that dictates your entire life. Like when I look at the show Succession, all the siblings in that show, all the sons and daughter of Logan Roy, their whole life, their whole psyche, their whole mental outlook is predicated on their spawn point, on where they were born. Everything they do is about their birthright. Your entire life, dude, that's giving so much energy and effort to something that was outside of your control. Can we start putting our eggs in baskets that we have control over? Instead of sitting here and being like, woe is me, I was born to a poor family in a horrible place. Can we be like, okay, that happened, move on. And like, be something beyond what has been given us outside of our control. That is the word of encouragement today. In a day of unencouragement. Because as I look at my Lakers in the NBA title, a team that I proclaimed could win the finals, you know what? Darn it, I'm not going to say it. The Lakers could absolutely still win the finals. I still 100% believe in this team. Because what kind of fan would I be if I sat here today and proclaimed our season over when we have the greatest player of all time and the best scorer in the league on our team? How do we not have a shot? We have the best player to ever exist on our team and the best scorer in the league this season. Last night, they played the defending champs on the road, third game in 4 days, without a starting point guard and our best defensive player in Marcus Smart. Our best player was clearly hurt. Our second best player is 41 years old, and he looked tired. Look, last night sucked for the Lakers. Like, if Luka returns to 100% in the playoffs, though, and if LeBron is rested and healthy, and if AR is hitting shots and Marcus Smart is healthy and playing good defense, and JJ Redick is drawing up plays, I will give us a shot against any team in the playoffs because every team is one injury away from being completely neutralized. We saw it last year. I can't even sit here and say that the Thunder were the best team in the NBA last year because I didn't see them play the Celtics. Do you remember how good that Celtics team was? When Jason Tatum got hurt, all of their hopes and dreams were gone. If the Pacers took OKC to 7 and nearly won it without Tyrese Halliburton, they had a first half lead in that game. I'm not sitting here and saying the Celtics would have absolutely won the finals last year, but dog, given the way that OKC played against Indiana in the finals, I can't 100% believe that was the best team last year. They were the best team at the end because their superstar wasn't hurt. The point I'm trying to make is every team is one injury away. So when you try to sit here and say the Lakers season is dead, they suck, look how bad they lost to the Thunder. Hey, what if the Thunder lose Shea? What if the Spurs lose Wemby? What if the Nuggets lose Jokic? All of those teams will lose to a fully healthy Lakers team. Because in the NBA, every team is one injury away. DeAndre Ayton is the problem for the Lakers. He had 0 rebounds the entire first half. Yeah, he was horrible. He was truly horrible. Couldn't move Chet Holmgren at all. Brother, I could blow Chet Holmgren over with like a party balloon. Or like one of those sparklers. I could easily spin this as a good thing for the Lakers. A 43-point loss. Lots of motivation, right? For the playoffs. Didn't show them anything. Now if we play the Thunder in the playoffs, they're going to be like, this is going to be easy. We'll catch them by surprise. I could do all that. Sign me up. The Lakers loss to the Thunder was actually a good thing. Imagine that. I tried so hard today to spin this into the Lakers loss to the Thunder on Friday was actually a good thing for the Lakers. I tried so hard. And I'm probably going to put that in a clip. Right there, Paprika. I'm going to put that in the front of a clip and then talk about the Lakers titles chances. People are going to be like, hey, dude, you're retarded. Hey, this guy's retarded. You should see some of the comments I'd be getting. I was saying some wild stuff online yesterday and the day before. And people took the bait, brother. People took the BAIT. That's enough about the NBA. Let's talk about God's greatest gift to mankind outside of his son, who died on the cross for us. Happy Good Friday. The NFL. Sounds like me when OU loses during college football. Yeah. It's horrible. I was thinking about this, JD. I'm so excited for college football to be back. I love college football. It's also like the most delusional I get. This team right here, I'm so delusional about the Trojans. I'm so delusional about the Trojans, dude. But if you're not completely, utterly delusional about your college football team, you're not doing college football right. You need to care about that team for whatever reason more than any other team that you have. There's something about it being children and about like regional pride. That's the one place where people still have like deep regional pride or alma mater pride. As Connor Griffin gets his first hit ever as a major leaguer, it's going to be an RBI double for Connor Griffin. We saw it here live on TVWZ. That's awesome, dude. Connor Griffin, 19-year-old phenom for the Pittsburgh Pirates, rips a double off the wall for his first hit of his MLB career. Dog, he's 6'2", like 215, and he's playing shortstop. He looks unbelievable in a baseball uniform. And it's not his last hit. I'll put that way. Yeah, Oreo, future best player oat. It's funny how the Pirates have the future like best hitter and the future best pitcher on their team. And still absolutely stink. Dan Graziano was on Get Up today saying that after talking to all the teams at the annual league meeting that we had this week, shout out to the coach's picture, he does not believe that there's a team out there that's willing to take Ty Simpson in the first round. I don't know. For you and I, Ty Simpson, 16 overall to the Jets, was a lock. That's like a shoo-in. I would 100% believe that he's still going to be the second quarterback taken in the draft. But now I'm like, I don't even know if it's going to be on night one. As Connor Griffin rounds third. Play at the plate. Not in time. He's safe. Bro, he's so fast. OMG. Pittsburgh is up 2-0 on Baltimore. Chris Bradish not having the best outing. Wow, that was awesome. And we'll still lose both. Like Barry Bonds, yeah. I could like USC if Lincoln Riley wasn't there. Well, that's the OU in you. That's the Oklahoma in you. The sporting world has circled the Jets at 16. But if you have Geno Smith, who, listen, Geno Smith is a better option than whatever they had playing quarterback last year. If you disagree, say, I disagree or something. I don't know. Or like, give your dog a treat if you disagree. It's going to be funny when there's thousands of people watching the show and I say, like, you want a treat? And like hundreds of dogs across America are going to be like, I do. Dogs are so stupid. Dude, one of my dogs eats my other dog, tries to eat my other dog's poop. Dude, he's like the cutest dog. You're like, oh, bro, I love you. I care about you. I want to see you succeed. I care about what you did today. I love watching him explore. I like watching him just hang out. I love watching my dog sleep. I'm just like, dude, this dog rules. And then he's like, I'm going to go eat the other dog's poop. Be right back. And you're like this. You're disgusting, you horrible animal. I'm disgusted by my dog's behavior when he does stuff like that. The Pirates are destroying Chris Bradish right now. Jeez. 3-0 Pirates. Cubbies and Guardians are playing. We've got Rangers and Reds on. Matt McClain should be due up next for the Reds and then Ellie De La Cruz. My dog eats their own poop and then vomits. My dog loves to just stare out the window. Paprika. Dogs just be staring out the window, dude. My dog does the same thing every day. He wakes up, gets some breakfast. Then he goes, lays back down. Then he waits for someone else to wake up. Then he goes for a walk. Then he comes back and he pants and he lays down. He does nothing. Waits for me to finish work. Plays with me for a little bit. I throw him the ball. Then he lays back down. Are they living the life or what, dude? Are dogs actually having fun? Seriously. I do know for a fact some dogs out there are not having a good time. That little dog that you have cooped up in your apartment all day is not having fun. That dog that gets walked 4 times a week and is in 1,000 square foot, 1 bedroom, or a 400 square foot studio, and every other day that you have to go into the office, it's going to daycare. It probably has more fun at daycare than it has in your house. JD, you're like, dogs have the best lives. What part of that looks fun? What part of what a dog does looks fun? The only fun part is like not having to work. Not having to go to school. That's the only part that looks fun for a dog. Everyone said that Ty Simpson's going to be going 16 to the Jets. who have Geno Smith now, who's a better option than last year, and there's 7 quarterbacks in next year's draft worth taking in the top 10. So why would you spend that spot at 16 on Ty Simpson this year when you know that you already have a plan at quarterback for this season, and next year there's 7 dudes better than Ty Simpson coming out of the draft? Why on earth would you spend a pick at 16 to get him? There's also talk about Pittsburgh getting him at pick 21. And can I just say, I'm done with Pittsburgh. I miss the Steelers. The Steelers used to be a team that, like, even though I had my team, my allegiance to the Chargers, I still in my heart was like, but I kind of like the Steelers. You know what I mean? They're football. Same with the Ravens. Everyone kind of likes the Ravens because those are football teams. You can't hate the Steelers entirely. But after inviting Aaron Rodgers into your life, you've just become a big old drama team that everyone wants to talk about now. All last year, we were like, Mike Tomlin, he's 500. Let's talk about it. That's not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers potentially playing for the Jets. Or Aaron Rodgers potentially playing this season for the Steelers. Or I don't want to talk about Will Howard. I don't want to talk about the Steelers drafting Ty Simpson. You know what I want to talk about is the steel curtain, dude. I miss James Harrison. I wanted them to go out and get Fred Warner and David Lloyd and put together the greatest defense we've ever seen. Right now, your defense is old and it's slow. And I don't care who you put at quarterback. You're not the Steelers anymore. The Pittsburgh Steelers used to mean something, dude. It used to mean football. It used to mean blood. Like, dude, the Pittsburgh Steelers growing up were the definition of a football team. Hard-hitting, disgusting defense that never lets up. And at quarterback, just put some big horse that's hard to tackle that can get the ball downfield. Give me a beast O-line and like a receiver and a tight end that can get the ball out of the hands of the quarterback. I can just catch a ball every once in a while on a nice slant or a 5-yard in. And then go out there and demoralize offense. Go out there and demoralize the offense that you're playing against because your defense is just that good. That's what I want in Pittsburgh. That's football. That's what I grew up watching. That's not the Steelers anymore. This new iteration of the Pittsburgh Steelers, where the only thing we talk about is whether your head coach is going to coach there or not, or being 500, or Aaron Rodgers. What happened? How did you get so soft so fast? That was the hard-nosed team. That was like the team up north that you're like, we're going to try to be like the Steelers. We want to be like the Steelers. They're a hard-nosed football team that doesn't quit. They've got grit and energy. They never quit on a play. They're always in it because of their defense. And now I'm looking at the Steelers like, hey, that team gave up 500 yards last year to Joe Flacco. I could not care less about who the quarterback is in Pittsburgh because that's not what should matter in Pittsburgh. You went out and you won Super Bowls with an actual redwood tree. Convicted rapist Ben Roethlisberger behind center. But you didn't do it because of him. You did it because of your defense. You did it because of who you were. Because the logo on the side of your helmet. Crap! Sick and tired of messing up. Paprika. Side note on the Steelers. My bad. What was the other paprika I had? Dogs? No, there was one before that. It was pretty good. It seems like most people think that that Aaron Rodgers should go back to Pittsburgh this year. They should draft Ty Simpson at 21, and they can train him. Dude, Troy Polamalu left. Troy Polamalu left. Oreo, that's what it is. What's up, a concept guy? Chase Claypool's TikToks and Juju Smith-Schuster happened, and that team turned gay. Dude, the Pittsburgh Steelers used to be so sick, bro. They used to be tough. They used to be hard-nosed. And now I'm like, dude, that's a bunch of drama queens. They have Jalen Ramsey over there. Get me out of that locker room as soon as possible. TJ Watt must hate it there. But it seems like everyone wants them to have Aaron come back, draft Ty Simpson, and then have Aaron Rodgers do what he did to Jordan Love and what Brett Favre did to him, and train up that dude to become a great quarterback. That obviously worked well for those guys that I mentioned. And it looks like the Raiders are trying to do the same, as the Raiders have signed Kirk Cousins to a 5-year, $172 million deal, which is essentially $20 million guaranteed year one. It's money turning me on. It's money turning me on. Ramsey, Rodgers, and Metcalf in the same locker room. That is a They're putting on a show this year. They're not trying to be the Steelers anymore. But Kirk Cousins is now a Raider. This will be the 11th season in a row that Kirk Cousins' contract is fully guaranteed. The idea is basically that Cousins will presumably start the season and be a bridge quarterback to get to Fernando Mendoza. And he's going to train him up. And hey, I can't think of a better guy to do it than Kirk Cousins. This is a guy with zero issues in the league, a dude that was counted out, a low draft pick, someone that's been on bad teams and led them to the playoffs, someone that's been on good teams and taken them deep into playoffs. This is a quarterback in Kirk Cousins that doesn't necessarily have the physical intangibles, but mentally is locked in and dialed and is accurate downfield. Is a great quarterback to train a guy like Fernando Mendoza, who everybody's kind of calling like Kirk Cousins 2.0. Yankees win. What's your favorite NBA player all time? A concept guy? Lamar Odom. That's the idea, right? But in my head, hey, whoever you draft number 1 overall should probably start on your team that year. If you are the Raiders and you're like, hey, we're going to take Fernando Mendoza 1-1, but we're going to have Kirk Cousins start the season and train up Fernando Mendoza, our number 1 overall pick, maybe that guy's not worth drafting number 1 overall. If you are not fully reticent of the fact that he's going to be your starter, they're not willing to name Fernando Mendoza their starter. They want Kirk Cousins to be their starter this season. Why on earth would you take that guy 1-1 when you don't think he's ready to play football? Whoever you take in the first round needs to start on your team that season. Or it's a waste of a pick. Whoever teams take in the first round, that's a guy that's going to play and start every game for that team that season. We don't see number 1 overall picks sit. If you're going to draft a dude at 1-1 that isn't ready to start, maybe the best idea would be to trade that pick away and get someone who can. It doesn't make any sense to me. I watched Fernando Mendoza's pro day. He looked really good. Like that dude's a professional football player. That dude looks really, really good at football. The throws he was making were awesome. And then I get this notification that they just signed Kirk Cousins. I'm like, tap me out. What's going on? If I'm a GM of a team and I draft a player at number 1 overall, I expect that person to start for my team. Name me the last number 1 overall pick that didn't start the next year. Week 1. Week 1. Let's go back through. Cam Ward started last year. Week 1. Caleb Williams started week 1. Now I don't remember. 2023. Bryce Young started week 1. Let's keep going. 22. This one's really hard. This is not a very fun game. Who was 2022 before Bryce Young? Was that Zach Wilson year? 2022 was defense, I think, as well. Either way, you guys get my point. If I'm drafting at number 1 overall, he better start for my team. By bringing in Kirk Cousins, I'm like, maybe they don't think he's actually the guy. If that's the case, then trade away the first round pick. Trade away the first overall pick. Do it. Get 2 firsts next year from the Jets and let them take Fernando Mendoza. They'll do it. They will absolutely do that. Two things I did not cover today on the Power Hour that we're going to be getting to later in the show. Shedeur versus Watson versus Gabriel. Who's going to be starting for the Browns? I have no idea, but boy, oh boy, is it going to be fun. According to reports from Todd Monken, the new head coach of the Browns, Shedeur Sanders has been in the building every single day. He has not seen Dillon Gabriel one time. He's talked on the phone with Deshaun Watson, but he has not seen him face to face. We will break all that down. Basically, what I'm thinking, it looks like Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starter for the Browns week 1. It looks like it's his job to lose. You can't start Deshaun Watson, a guy who's played 19 games in the past 5 seasons. Okay? And Dillon Gabriel hasn't even been there one time. Didn't even look good last year. Bro, it looks like a guy who's just excited to cash a check and was just stoked that he got the signing bonus that he did get. 2022 was the Jags' defensive pick. Hot take, Dillon Gabriel's better than Sanders, but the fans hate him. I didn't see anything on tape that led me think that Dillon Gabriel was better than Shedeur Sanders. I didn't see anything on tape that let me think that Shedeur Sanders is a starting quarterback either. There were a couple good moments, like against the Raiders. He throws it too slow. His arm movement is not fast enough. And of course, we're gonna do a Final Four preview. Illinois versus UConn on Saturday at 3 Pacific, and then Michigan, Arizona at 6 Pacific. We're going to be talking about both of those games. We're going to be talking about the 18th game in the NFL season that the owners are trying to get. We're going to be talking about the Tiger Woods videos that dropped, some of the hate on Memphis, and much, much more. You've been listening to the TBWZ Power Hour. Thank you so much for watching. See you again on Monday.